Simi, a 12-year-old girl, had a lovely grandfather. She had stayed with her grandfather right from childhood. Her mother had given birth to her outside wedlock. Shortly after Simi clocked 7, suitors started coming for her mother. Simi's mother, Angela, was scared initially. She doesn't want to make the mistake she made earlier, which prompted her to giving birth to Simi. In her early 20s, Angela, Simi's mother, a woman with a picture of grace and beauty. Her skin glowed with the healthy sheen of youth, and her figure, sculpted by years of physical labor, carried an elegance that made her the talk of the village. Angela wasn't just beautiful, she was industrious and kind, with a personality that drew people to her like moths to a flame. It was no surprise that suitors flocked to her. Young men from near and far visited her parents with gifts, each hoping to win her hand in marriage. Some brought goats, others baskets of yam or kola nuts. Her parents' compound was never empty, and her mother constantly teased her about how lucky she was to have so many admirers. She had a childhood friend, Kazim. Kazim was a young man of simple means, but he carried himself with confidence. He was tall and lean, with sharp features and a quiet strength that made him stand out. Unlike the other suitors, who came with flashy gifts and exaggerated promises, Kazim's appeal lay in his sincerity. Angela and Kazim had grown up together, their homes separated by a narrow footpath lined with hibiscus flowers. As children, they had shared secrets, dreams, and countless adventures. He was the one who taught her how to climb trees without tearing her wrapper. She was the one who helped him overcome his fear of swimming in the stream. As they grew older, their bond deepened. Kazim became a constant presence in Angela's life. He would arrive at her compound early in the morning, carrying an empty bucket. "Let's fetch water," he would say with a grin, and together they would walk the mile-long path to the village stream. The stream was their sanctuary. There, away from prying eyes, they splashed water at each other, laughed until their sides hurt, and talked about everything under the sun. Kazim would help Angela balance her water pot on her head, steadying it with his hand as she adjusted her scarf. On market days, he helped Angela carry baskets of produce to the village square. When her family needed firewood, he was the one who joined her in the forest, chopping and gathering logs while she bundled sticks. Sometimes, they would sit by the edge of the forest, taking a break under the shade of a large mango tree. Kazim would climb up to pluck the ripest fruits, tossing them down to Angela, who would catch them with a laugh. They had their quiet moments too. In the evenings, after the day's work was done, they would sit outside Angela's compound, watching the stars. Kazim would tell stories of great warriors and adventures, his voice low and steady. Angela listened with rapt attention, her head resting against the bamboo fence. Their closeness didn't go unnoticed. Villagers began to whisper about the nature of their relationship. "Why does Kazim follow Angela everywhere?" they would ask. "Are they more than friends?" For Angela, the rumors were both flattering and frustrating. She valued her friendship with Kazim, but she also knew her parents expected her to marry someone with wealth and status, someone who could provide for her and her future children. Kazim, on the other hand, never said a word about his feelings. He continued to be there for her, helping with chores, sharing jokes, and standing by her side during village festivals. If he harbored any hopes of a deeper relationship, he kept them to himself. Unknown to Kazim, Angela would soon be betrothed to one of the suitors. One day as they were returning back from the stream, Angela carried the smaller pot of water while Kazim carried the bigger pot. They were both gisting. Kazim, Taiwo the son of Ajayi will be paying my bride price soon and I want you to be there," Angela remembered. Kazim paused for a while, dumbfounded. He was supposed to be happy for his childhood friend, but here words are failing him. He stood there for 5 minutes before his mind returned back. "Angela, why did you choose him? Why?" Kazim finally said when he had regained himself from the shock. Angela, not knowing why her so-called childhood friend should be sad at the good news instead of congratulating, bursted. Kazim, why the question? Is anything wrong with Taiwo? Is there something about him? Kazim couldn't answer any more. He hissed and kept mute till they reached home. He blamed himself for confessing his love for Angela on time. After that incident, Kazim never visited Angela again. Angela had gone to his village to ask of him, but she was told that Kazim had traveled to the city. Angela was cold and knew not the reasons behind Kazim's sudden departure, and without him even leaving a word for her. Unknown to Angela, Taiwo, her supposed suitor-to-be, had used introduction to lure Angela toward sleeping with her. Angela's introduction was made. She had gone to her supposed suitor's house to help them with chores, only for Taiwo to forcefully have sex with her. Out of fear, Angela couldn't tell her parents. She had thought that since soon Taiwo and his family would be coming soon to pay her bride price, that she's safe. Little did she know that Taiwo had made plans contrary to what her mind had told her. On the fateful sunny afternoon, the news came to Angela's father, Simi's grandfather. "We're sorry, Mr. Ikpan. It's unfortunate that we wouldn't be coming for your daughter's hand in marriage anymore. My son had traveled out and would be getting a wife from there." The world felt upside down in Angela's side. She cried from days before she recovered. Not long after the news, she missed her period. "God, I'm doomed. Could it be I'm pregnant for that stupid man? It better not be," she assured herself. Gradually her baby bump started coming out. She cried the more till baby Simi came to the world. Simi turned 7. Angela, Simi's mother, decided to give marriage a chance again, but this time she was more careful. She waited till all her bride price was paid till she moved in with her husband. She had left Simi to stay with her father. Simi had grown in the arms of her grandfather. Her mother Angela visits often. Simi, now 12, began to notice a lot of things about her grandfather. Her grandfather loves going to the bush, and each time he returns he comes home with flashy expensive golds and jewelries. She had once asked her grandfather to get her a beautiful baby doll box. Surprisingly, her grandfather returned from the bush with a beautiful pink baby doll box. She was happy and at the same time perplexed. She had told her grandfather that she wants to join him to the bush. But her grandfather had obliged, saying it's only old men that goes there. "Can Dammy, our neighbor's son, go with you, Grandpa?" Simi asked one morning as her grandpa prepares to move out. Bringing up his face to answer Simi, he said, "No, my child, Dammy cannot come with me. Do you want me to get you anything today?" he asked. "No, Grandpa. Thank you for the baby doll box. I love it," Simi chuckled. Grandpa left that day to the bush and came home with food stuff this time around. Grandpa never works, neither do the government pay him, but he fits all bills in the house. I need to know how Grandpa gets all this. Does he have a home in the bush? Inquisitive Simi asked herself one evening as she sat on the small sitting room couch. "I will join Grandpa to the bush tomorrow." "Oh boo," he said, "I cannot join him, even Dammy cannot too." "Who then can?" she asked herself again. "I will sneak and follow him tomorrow morning," she finally said. Throughout that night, Simi couldn't sleep. She kept wondering and imagining how beautiful the bush would be to have all this goodies that Grandpa brings home. The next day Grandpa woke up early as usual, took his morning tea and set out to leave. He checked in Simi and thought she's still sleeping, so he quietly closed back the door and set out. Simi had long woken up. She knew when Grandpa came to check up on her, but then she kept mute so that she can carry out her plans. She sat up in bed, brushing strands of her short hair away from her face. From the small window, she saw him heading toward the bush at the edge of their village. Wrapping her scarf tightly, Ada slipped on her sandals and hurried after her grandfather, careful to stay a few meters behind. She stepped lightly, her heart racing with a mix of fear and excitement. Her thoughts of seeing a beautiful mansion as she had imagined wasn't anywhere near it. The bush had only grasses and it was quite fearing. She looked back to make sure she could still find her way home. Then suddenly her grandpa stopped at a corner of the bush. God, had he found out that I'm following him? Simi panicked, hiding far away. In the middle of the bush, Grandpa drops his basket on the floor. He started zipped down his trouser. Wait, what do Grandpa want to do? Simi asked herself. She knew it was proper for her to look, 'cause it could be that he wants to pee. In the village, whenever the males pee, the girls would take away their faces. So this time, Simi, inquisitive, had her eyes glued at her grandpa. Grandpa zipped down, brought out his long sagging penis. What he did amazed Simi. Grandpa rubbed his penis with his two palms, and immediately jammed the two hands together, making a sound. Immediately a static dog statue appeared right in front of him. Simi couldn't gather up what he just beheld with her two eyes. Just then, the big dog statue, shining like a gold, started bringing out foods and other expensive stuffs Grandpa had asked it to. Grandpa put back his penis inside and zipped up. Upon zipping up, the gold dig statue disappeared. Grandpa packed the stuffs into the basket. Before then, Simi had ran home. What she saw at the bush marveled her. Does it mean that my grandpa is not a human? Or is he sold to the gods? Should I confront Grandpa about this? What do I do? Simi kept pondering. The most fiery part was that Grandpa makes use of his penis. Could he come after me in the long run? I really need to be cautious, she said. Little Simi, lost in her thoughts, dozed off. If you're in Simi's shoes, what could you have done? Simi would be at the comment section to take your advices.